So when I reflected on this week's gospel, it made me think about my own journey in search of my own faith. So about 5 years ago, I had felt like something was missing in my life, and I wasn't sure what it was. And I was starting to take my young kids at the time to church. I think my son was going to do First Communion, so I was attending church with him on a regular basis. And at that point, I had no religion in my life, but I was raising my kids Catholic because my partner was Catholic. I don't know, as soon as I started going to church, I felt like something was pulling me to it. Like I felt peace when I was there, and I think that's what was missing out of my life in some ways. So I guess I started asking questions about my own self and like getting baptized and things that I had never did as a child or experienced. So I signed up for the RCA and started that process, and it was one of the most rewarding things that I did do. I got to meet a lot of really awesome people, and I got to find something that was missing in my life. I don't know, I've always really believed things happen for a reason, so I feel like my son's First Communion brought me to that specific church, and I just really felt there was a really sense of community at that church. And yeah, it just made me want to keep going back, so I started the process. I think it was like once a week we would meet as a group and go over different readings and start learning about, God and Jesus and the Catholic religion. And I just loved it. I loved going every week, and yeah, it's just nice to be able to walk in and sit down for an hour and, have your phone turned off and be able to sit and just listen and listen to the music and the gospel and just see everybody in there for the same reason. So yeah, so when reading this week's gospel, it reminds me of that, where they're searching for Jesus and they can't find him, and then they decide to just trust their instincts, which is looking at the star, and by just following the star they find what they were looking for. So they didn't need to use a map or get someone to tell them exactly where to go. They just followed a star and hoped it, and had faith that it was going to lead them to where they wanted to go. And I guess that's kind of like what I'm hoping for, or have been hoping for, is that, in choosing later in life to get baptized and become Catholic and share that with my own children, that I'm going to find what I'm looking for.